In the first of our ACEPC Powerbox reviews, we are checking out the mid-range performance mini model. Let's see how it compares to the Pro model, including unboxing, overview, benchmarks and some game and emulator performance tests. First out of the box we have the ACEPC Powerbox Mini. We will take a closer look at it in a moment. Underneath we have a user manual that is in multiple languages including English, Chinese, German and Italian. Next we have a power supply. We will include the correct adapter for your country. And last but not least, there is a HDMI cable. The ACEPC Powerbox Mini measures around 6.15 by 5.22 by 2.3 inches and weighs 581 grams. The front, from top to bottom, starts with a power button which is part of the dial to change the performance on the mini PC. We will show the differences in the benchmarks which are coming up soon. Underneath is a 3.5mm audio port, followed by two USB 3 ports and a USB Type-C port for data. On the back we have two more USB 3 ports, a display port and HDMI port, which when used with the Type-C port provides up to triple monitor support. Below is an Ethernet port and the power port. The ACEPC Powerbox Mini features the AMD Ryzen 7 5700U, which has 8 cores and 16 threads running up to 4.3 GHz. For the graphics, it has the AMD Radeon with 8 cores running up to 1900 MHz. There's 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM and 512 gigs of M.2 SSD, supporting up to 1 TB. For communications, there's Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.2, and not forgetting the Ethernet port. In our power consumption tests, we left it idle on the desktop and got 10.6 watts usage on the performance mode. Whilst running the Cinebench benchmark, we got a peak usage of 45.2 watts. For our fan noise and thermals, we are testing on the performance mode. We got a highest fan noise of 68 decibels and highest temperature of 55 degrees. For auto performance we got a highest fan noise of 50 decibels and for smart at just 48 decibels. The power button dial can be set to 3 performance settings: Smart, Auto and Performance. We will first show the differences between the 3 in Cinebench. The dial essentially changes the CPU processing speed limit, which lowers the performance, heat generated and fan noise. For the remainder of these benchmarks we will be running in performance mode. Passmark runs benchmarks on the CPU, GPU, RAM and storage for the overall performance. We got a score of 3679, which beats the Powerbox Pro at 3082. PCMark runs your more day-to-day benchmarks for tasks such as word processing, web browsing, video conferencing and light image editing. We get a score of 5282, which is in the higher end of our mid-range mini PC models. The Pro model got 5153, so both are very good scores. Cinebench tests the performance of the single and multi-cores on the CPU. We got a score of 1255 for single and 8498 for multi-core. Again, they are good scores. The Pro model wins with the high performance single core score at 1667, but falls behind on the multi-core score. We finished the benchmarks with 3DMark, which tests the CPU and GPU working together for gaming performance. In the TimeSpy benchmark we got a score of 1481, for Firestorm we got 3718 and for Night Raid we got 14671. All 3 are decent scores. The Pro model falls behind a fair amount on all 3 though. While the Powerbox Mini is not a gaming mini PC, these processors are powerful enough for light gaming. Recent lower demanding games and older games in general should run fine up to 4K with good graphics settings. As you go into more demanding 3D environments you will need to drop the resolution down to 1080 or 720p as well as the graphic settings depending on the game. In our Street Fighter 6 benchmarks at 720p lowest graphic settings we got 60, 30 and 30 across the 3 tests. whereas the Pro model got slightly below 30 in all 3 tests. And for Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 720p lowest graphic settings, we got 43 versus 33 frames per second. The AMD GPU gives that extra boost in performance for gaming. For emulation, we see perfect performance on systems up to the PlayStation 1 and Dreamcast era. You will be able to increase the rendering resolution and enjoy higher quality visuals on these earlier systems. For PS2, we see good performance on Outrun with mostly high 50 frames per second, but dropping to lower 50s now and again. With Gran Turismo 2, we see a solid 60 FPS. And for PS3, mostly 60 FPS on Tekken 6 after shader caching. And for Wipeout, we see FPS ranging from 47 up to 60 in less busy scenes. The ACEPC Powerbox Mini immediately stands out with its vertical orientation. Unfortunately, the RGB lighting cannot be switched off, so perhaps it's not ideal for the office environment. But as a mid-range mini PC for the home, it fits in well enough. It's high performing enough for your day-to-day workloads, right up to image editing and working with large documents. And you will have no issues playing your favourite 4K content without any issues. For gaming, there is enough for light to some medium games. And don't forget, you can also use Xbox Game Pass for game streaming of more demanding games. Between the Pro and the Mini Powerbox models, the Mini does outperform the Pro in the benchmark tests. So if you don't mind the colourful lights and design, this would be the one to go for if performance is a must. You can learn more about the ACEPC Powerbox Mini and order yours today at DroiX.co.uk or DroiX.net for worldwide shipping. We currently have a sale running, so you can grab your ACEPC or other mini PCs at a great price. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date with our latest reviews. Thanks for watching, and we will see you back in our next one.